All right, we want to go back to this developing situation outside the Wells Fargo Center. Our Jackie Alamany, CBS News political digital journalist, is outside with demonstrators here in Philadelphia. She joins us now on the phone. Jackie, what can you tell us?
Hey, Elaine. So we're approaching FDR Park outside of the Wells Fargo here in Philly, and there's been a collision of protest groups. The Bernie or Bust demonstrators came from FDR Park, where they were hanging out to meet the Black Lives Matter protesters who were marching from City Hall, and it was probably the biggest collision of protesters yet, or rather joining of protesters. So police at the moment are just working to keep the situation calm, keep reporters out of the streets, and people are heading to the arena now all together.
Jackie, can you give us a sense of the numbers? Are you in a position to see how many people are we talking about? A couple of dozen? Is it 100? Can you tell from your vantage point there?
Yeah, I guess that, there were about 200 that left City Hall earlier, maybe 150, and now it appears to be, 300 to 400. They're a relatively peaceful bunch, but they're starting to spread out across the protest route, so they appear to be a bigger group than they actually are.
Jackie, I have Vladimir Dutier with me here. He wants to ask you a question as well.
Hey, Vlad.
Jackie, does it seem to you that some of the people that are there were actually inside the convention center during the last 24, 48 hours?
I've only talked to 2 people who were actually in the convention center. The rest of them had been hanging out around FDR Park for a while. Earlier in the day, there was a Bernie or Bust Jill Stein rally. It seems like a lot of those folks, after the rally, headed down to the arena to be around for the roll call, and have just been sort of hanging out since.
Jackie, I wonder if we know... I'm sorry, Jackie, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Go ahead, Lane.
I just wondered if we knew whether there was any coordination that we knew of ahead of time. Were there plans for this to happen that we had heard about that were perhaps in the works?
Well, the Black Lives Matter protesters this was always the plan to march to the arena on this night that Hillary Clinton was going to officially become the nominee. They were chanting anti-Hillary sentiments the entire way. But the joining of the forces was unplanned. What several protesters told me is they heard that there was action, and they left the park and came for the action.
Jackie, one of the things that we saw in Cleveland is we saw a very effective police mobilization when protests sprang up. They had an ingenious method of using bicycles and other tactics to prevent protests from getting larger or out of hand. What kind of police presence and what kind of activity are you seeing from the police?
Yeah, so actually there feels to be less of a police presence here. There are a number of biker cops. We've heard reports as well of police bringing out some riot gear closer to the convention. But the Cleveland police, the entire week we were around the city, did not have to deal with a contingency as large as this. So there are much more there are police cars that are actually riding in line in the protest route. There were cops on motorcycles, using the motorcycles to push people, to get people to run out of the way, to keep people moving forward. And the biker cops continue to bike alongside the protesters to keep them in line.
All right, Jackie, we are continuing to watch these pictures here, but we're going to take a quick break right now. Please check in with us if there are any further developments. Jackie Alamany at the site of where these demonstrators have converged, Black Lives Matter demonstrators, as well as Bernie Sanders, Bernie or Bust supporters, just outside the Wells Fargo Center here in Philadelphia.